Hey everybody, Eric here. Got a new patient in the office. Polaris Scrambler 500 high output 2003 model. And the biggest complaint that I was told was that in all-wheel drive mode, it pulls real hard to the right. So when I test drive it, two-wheel drive mode, everything's fine. All-wheel drive mode, huge torque steer to the right, even just the slightest amount of throttle. So did a little bit of tinkering and cleaning up and inspection of all this, and late last night I kind of realized that before I took any of this apart that I had a feeling that something else was really wrong. Found a video from a gentleman named Nathan Beasley. He actually has two videos. Anybody who wants to really understand how this Hilder clutch works, please watch his two videos. They're going to help you out and explain this better than any other video I've seen. And he actually has the same problem that I have on this one. He has a 94 Polaris 400 something, whatever. And I'm going to show you how to easily check to see if you have the problem that he and I both have. Because if you've been through all this clutch setup and you've checked that your ring and your outer ring are all perfectly aligned and you've put a new armature plate and still nothing works, I'm going to have your answer for you probably today. First, real quick, I want to show you the electrical side of this. This is just one part of this. Everybody seems to have a little more problem with electricity. I want to help everybody show you how to easily do some real basic tests here, okay? Just to make sure all your electrical part is working before you go start tearing anything apart. Okay, so we're going to use a simple volt ohm meter. I'm going to have my voltage set to 20 DC volts. Okay, I need something a little bit more than the 12 volts of my battery. If you'll trace the two wires that are coming from your two coils on your two clutches, you'll find two connectors right here. Okay, look just like this. If you unplug the connector, I'm going to place my two leads into the wiring harness side of that connector. Okay, I have my meter turned on. I have the switch, the engine switch in the run position. I have the unit in drive, and I'm going to turn the key to the on position. At this point, I'm going to turn the all-wheel drive switch on. And as you can see, now I'm reading a little over 11 volts. That's a little less than battery voltage. There's probably some corrosion in that on-off switch, or possibly the transmission switch that tells me I'm in drive. Both of these affect this volt. Have to pass, the voltage passes through both of those switches to reach this far. But at least I know it's working. Okay, when I turn the switch back off, I'll go back to 0 volts. Okay, you can test both lines. You should have 12 volts when you switch that on and off. Now we can also test resistance of each coil. We're going to select the lowest ohm resistance that we can find on our meter, and we're going to connect the two leads across the two terminals. It should be around in the mid-20s. Here we got 23.6. Okay, if I connect across those two leads and I still have an open circuit, that means one of my wires is severed and broken, or my magnetic coil has an open circuit internally. If I connect across these two leads and I get 0, that means I have these two wires are pinched together and touching each other somewhere, or the magnetic coil has shorted internally. Okay, either of those cases, you have to either fix your wire or replace the coil. Okay, pretty simple electrical test. And now, what's really the problem is mechanical. All right, so thank you to Mr. Beasley. This was what caused me to see what was going on here was just the fact of trying to refit the brakes after removing the caliper. And I want you to look at, hopefully I'm getting you, I'm gonna try to get you a good, as I can, straight on view of this rotor. You can see, when I just spin it, it's pretty true, right? Okay. This is not the case because watch what happens to this rotor. I'm not going to spin it. I'm going to try to hold it as still as I can. Watch what happens to this when I actually turn the drive shaft. I have to put it in neutral, excuse me. Okay, watch what happens to the rotor now. You see it moving? Watch the relationship of the rotor to this pin, to the wear marks on the pin. Look how far it's moving back and forth. Oh my goodness. It's gotta be more than a 1/4 inch of movement here. And this is what you're gonna find when you go to take, you go to sometimes try to take your caliper off, you can't get it on and off. And you also, because the brake pads don't fit within there anymore, okay? It's too tight. You move it to a different position, now you got all kinds of room, okay? Look how much I got there. The axle is bent internal to the hub, okay? So no matter what you do to those rings, your coil, your armature plate, nothing's gonna matter because all that stuff has to sit perfectly flat for that magnetic coil to work. And when you're doing this all the time with the whole axle, well, obviously it's not great on your brakes. It's absolutely horrible for your wheel bearings, and your all-wheel drive's just not gonna ever work. So I appreciate everybody watching. Please watch out Mr. Beasley's videos. They is really what helped me a lot. Verifying, and of course, just visually watching this thing is incredible. Any different position I put it in, it'll move. That rotor still runs true when I spin the wheel, but it doesn't run true as soon as you start moving down the road, man. You can imagine what's happening. You're actually just flexing your whole brake rotor and your brake pads as you're driving. So hope this helped everybody out and explain why you've done all your stuff inside of here and yet your all-wheel drive's still not working properly. So, thanks everybody for watching. Alright, so this is after new axles, new bearings, races, and seals all in here. And as you can see, as I'm going to turn the drive shaft, you'll see the rotor is no longer shifting side to side. Okay, I put a dial indicator on this and measured over 100 thousandths of run out, all from this axle shaft being bent. So you think about it's wobbling that much. The armature plate's supposed to be within 1/1000th the inner and outer rings. There's no way that's gonna function properly. So good test to do. Check your run out on your rotor before you tear all this apart and make sure you know what you're getting into. You spend a lot of time on that hub assembly and it's not gonna ever work if you got a bent axle. So thanks everybody for watching.